So entry is everything when you're a day trader, figuring out when is the best time to enter a stock. There's a lot of different ideas and different theories on this. And one of the theories that I've been trading recently and lately is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high. And I'll break down that idea and break down theory in this video here. So you can see here, looking at AMD. AMD ran up big yesterday. It jumped up to 1436 pre-market and then pulled back pretty hard. And you can see here at open, it crashed 1416 all the way down to 1356. So a big sell-off there. Ended up getting this washout long. It sells off pretty hard. You can buy this dip if you get lucky enough. You buy the bottom and you get that move all the way back up to where it opened at. And you can see that's kind of what happened here. So everybody who bought this dip here ended up getting in 1356, 1370 area here on this support. And then, maybe they're still riding it all the way up here to 1436, looking for a new high of day. Where's a safer entry if you're not trying to buy the dip here? Well, the safer entry for me, in theory, would be the first 5-minute candle to make a new high over this big sell-off. So you have this big drop from 1416 down to 1356. You could have bought the first 5-minute candle to make a new high after this candle here at 1380. This candle ran up to 1391. It pulled back to that 1368 area and then kept moving higher. But really, for me, looking at this chart, I would say the 1416, that would be where that big sell-off started at 1460. It crashed down here to 1356. So really just looking at the possibility of getting in above this 1416 area. First 5-minute candle to go over that area actually exploded up pretty big. So jumped up from 1411 there up to 1425. So nice little move there. If you got in on this candle, this, you don't have to get in right at 1416 because this 5-minute candle might have jumped up and came back down a little bit. But once that broke through that area, we'll look at the 1-minute chart to look at that more detail. But you can see this is the first 5-minute candle to make a new high, and now it's running up to that pre-market high there at 1436. So big jump up from that first 5-minute candle to make a new high above that 1416 area. And you can see support resistance. Obviously that 1416 is going to be resistance because it was a big sell-off from before. So you're like, okay, if it gets above that 1416 area, I'm going to look to go long here for that possible move back up to high of day, which is happening right now on AMD. And if you look at the 1-minute chart, you get a better idea here. You can see on the 1-minute chart, bang, 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 it's hitting on this 1416 area. It was trying to break through, pulled back to this 1408 area, and then bam, here on this 1-minute candle here, it ran up from 1416 up to 1426, pulled back, bounced off that area, 1416, 1418 area, had some nice support, and then finally moving higher up here to 1440 now. So nice little move there on that first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Looking at the 1-minute chart here, you get a better idea of the actual, smaller moves here. But when you look at the 5-minute chart, trading off the 5-minute chart, you get a better idea of the overall chart, the overall moves. So getting in there at 1416 for that nice move higher up here. If you're getting in there at the 1416 area, where would your stop loss be? My stop loss would have been around this 1410 area, on the bottom of this 5-minute candle. So if I know that we're looking for that break at 1416, I get in there at 1416, and then all of a sudden starts crashing down, I'm going to get out there at 1410, knowing that's the bottom of this candle, maybe 1408, giving it like an 8-cent drop there if I need it. But overall, looking for this 1416 area to turn into support once it breaks through there, and that's exactly what happened. You get this move through the 1416 resistance from earlier, the high of this 5-minute candle that dropped there at open, get that big sell-off. And so once it gets above that, good bullish move there. And you can see this just steady trend right now. Really nice trend, actually. Buying this, at the bottom here. And it's just been following this trend all the way up here. Beautiful trend, actually. So from 1356 up to the high pre-market and blowing through that 1436 now up to 1440. So really, like I said, if you entered here at the 1416 area long, your stop loss here at the 1408 area, you'd be safe for that move higher and just follow this trend on up. You could keep on following it. This might keep going higher as the day goes on, and keep an eye on this trend here and watching it. And you can see pretty nice trend there. So this really, once that found that bottom there, it's just been following that trend higher and higher and higher, really just bouncing off this trend line all the way up here. So I like to trade with that 5-minute chart in mind, looking for that first 5-minute candle to make a new high. Like I said, you could have entered down here lower, riskier, but if you're really looking for the safe entry here, the safest entry would have been above this sell-off here at 1416, and you can see how it worked out perfectly there, getting in there at 1416, riding it up here to looking to take profit if it couldn't get above 1436 there and keep the trend going. It might have crashed down if it had problems. 1436, but you can see here it's up to 1440 now. So nice little move there on AMD this morning. And it's not always about the most volatile, craziest stock. Sometimes it's just about finding a nice trend like this one, getting in there on the trend line, getting in there above the resistance from earlier. First 5-minute candle to make a new high there since open. And nice little move there on AMD. So hopefully this answers some of your questions, gives you an idea. Another strategy for you to have in your book of strategies for day trading. Get a better idea for some better entries, some better overall plays here, and safer entries on stocks overall. And like I said, I use the 5-minute chart. Got the 5-minute chart over here pulled up, kind of a bigger picture, and then I'm looking at the 1-minute chart kind of for my entry. If I'm looking for a small micro pullback kind of on this trend line, if it wants to pull back from here, I might look to get in at the 1435 area maybe on this if it wants to hold support there. But overall, you can see AMD, nice little move there, running up. It's up 2.9% on the day, so you get about 4% move here from this bottom if you got lucky and bought the bottom on this one. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a comment, like the video, all that kind of fun stuff. Working on new videos daily.